this is Shayla with Spiritually Single. Welcome once again. Today I have a quick question for you. Have you ever been overlooked by a godly man or godly woman? Well, it happened to me. And I want to share my story so that it can help and encourage others to maybe avoid the same pitfalls that I had, that I made. I am a pastor's daughter, and so I grew up in the church. And I recall that there was this one time that we went to camp. It was a family camp. And I was really excited, and I remember we got there, and the reason I was so excited was because at camp you meet new people. You know, it's different people from the same people that you see at church every Sunday or every church meeting. And so I recall that this young man, he was at the church camp, and his dad was a missionary. And he was, studying to be a missionary as well. That was his dream, that was his goal. And so I remember meeting him, and I felt like I caught his eye. We were mutually interested in each other. And so I was excited. And being, a young lady, I, started envisioning maybe perhaps our life together and, planning my future, because I really thought, I'm a pastor's daughter. This is a young guy studying to be a missionary, match made in heaven, right? So anyway, he approached me after the first meeting, and we started talking. And the weirdest thing happened. We were having a conversation, but the more we spoke, the more I saw his interest just kind of, that glimmer in his eye, that the intensity of his interest just kind of dwindle. And as I was talking to him, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? It's like we're not clicking. It's like this isn't how I envisioned this meeting to go. And so the rest of the camp, I remember that he didn't necessarily avoid me, but we didn't engage in much conversation. He started talking to other girls, and it just never happened. What I had envisioned never took place. And so I remember leaving camp, and I had a lot of questions because it wasn't the only time it happened to me. It happened to me maybe about 3 times. One before that and once after that. And so about after the 3rd time, I started questioning myself, and I was like, what is going on? Why am I being overlooked by these godly men? Why am I being overlooked? I mean, I'm a pastor's daughter. I do everything by the book. I'm a catch. They should be coming to me and pursuing me. But what I failed to realize was that these were set apart men. These were men that they knew what they wanted. They knew what they were looking for. And when they saw me and, engaged me and kind of got to know me, they immediately realized, no, this is not for me. And the reason was because I had 1 foot in the church and 1 foot in the world. I was flirting with the world while I was trying to be in the church. And that's an impossible position to be in, because I was a pastor's daughter, and I was doing everything the way that I thought I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't set apart. I was not allowing God to prepare me. I was praying for my husband, but I wasn't really living out the Christian life. I was just living through the motions of being a Christian, but I wasn't applying the word to my life. Let me read the word, because there's a perfect verse for this, for what I was doing. It's in James 1:2, and it's the New International Version. It says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was just listening to the word, deceiving myself, thinking that that was going to be enough. And I wasn't actually doing it. I wasn't exactly applying it to my life. And so these set-apart men discerned my spirit. The spirit within them discerned that, not necessarily that I was a bad girl, but that maybe I wasn't ready. That it just wasn't the right person for them. God was guiding them, obviously, because I was a mess. I was flirting with the world, but in the church at the same time. Now, I'm not talking about guys that overlook you because maybe you're not their type. I'm not talking about guys that overlook you because the circumstances aren't right, or simply you're just not the right for that person. No, I am talking about when they overlook you because you are not living right, because your life is not aligned with God, because they discern that you're just not right with God. That's the type of overlooking that I'm talking about right now. And so, how can you prevent that from happening? Well, when I realized what was happening, I realized that I needed to get into the Word. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. If this is happening to you, if this has happened to you in the past, or you feel that maybe this is happening right now, like you hadn't really thought about it, but this makes sense. The Spirit is telling you that maybe this is speaking to you. This is word for you right now, timely word for you. Get in the Word. There's nothing like getting into the Word and aligning your life with God's principles, with God's decrees, with God's commands, getting in the Word and creating and activating your prayer life, because only God can align you to Him. You need to align yourself also. When you get into the Word, just get into it to the point where you overflow with His Word, where you overflow with His Spirit. This is a big indicator of your walk in life, because people don't go by what you tell them. Oh, I have alone time with God every day. I pray 3 hours a day. No. You don't need to be telling people what you do intimately with God, but they should be able to tell. There should be indicators of your private life with God. By your actions, by your words, by your just who you are. Let me give you an example. When Moses, when he would go up the mountain to encounter God, when he would come down, his face shone the light of God. I mean, it was so intense that when he would come down the mountain, the Israelites, they were afraid of him because of the light that emanated from his face. He didn't have to tell anybody, hey, I had an encounter with God. No, it was just immediately visible that this man has had an encounter with the Holy One. And so that's what we need to aspire. You need to aspire to radiate God's love, radiate God's presence, radiate God's word. You don't need to tell anybody how spiritual you are or how much time you spend with God. It's just, it'll overflow through your words. It will overflow through your actions. His presence will just beam out of you. It's going to be something that people are going to say, there's something special about that girl. There is something different, unique about that girl. That's what it is to be in preparation. And that's why I keep repeating it. Being in preparation during the season is so important, because the last thing you want is to be overlooked by a godly man who's set apart, who is an amazing man, but he overlooks you by the simple reason that you are not aligned with God. So I encourage you today that, you align yourself with God, that you seek Him more fervently, that you seek to really encounter Him on a daily basis so that you can radiate His presence in your life, and never be overlooked again. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.